Hey there, it's Jamie from My Baking Addiction with my second vlog. And today we're making cheesecake, more specifically Snickers cheesecake. Let's get started. I have about 15 full graham crackers here that I have turned into crumbs using my food processor. I mixed it in with a little bit of salt and a couple of tablespoons of sugar. If you're using the pre-crushed crumbs that you can find at your grocery store in a box, it equals about 2 cups of crumbs. To these crumbs, I'm going to add in 1 stick of melted butter and mix it until the crumbs are thoroughly moistened. And you just want to make sure that everything's moist so it binds together well when we go to press it into our springform pan, which is going to be our next step. Okay, what I have here is my springform pan, and they have a little clasp on the side that you undo to remove this round ring from the base. What I do before I start making my cheesecake is I take a piece of foil and I press it over the base of the springform pan and smooth it out as smooth as you can get it, and then take the ring that goes around the springform pan and just push it back onto the base and clamp it back together. This will ensure that when your cheesecake is done, it will come right out of the pan really nice, and it will make the slices look nicer and the crust at the bottom look nicer and cleaner. So that's what I do, and then I'll give it a spray with a non-stick cooking spray to ensure that nothing really sticks to the side, even though this is a non-stick pan. What I've done at this point is I have wrapped a double layer of heavy-duty foil around the sides and bottom of my springform pan. I've done this because I'm going to be using a water bath, and I want to take a couple of precautions to ensure that no water seeps into that crust and makes it all soggy. So what I've done is poured those graham cracker crumbs into the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to push them into the sides, maybe about an inch, inch and a half up the side, and into the base of the pan. At this point, I have taken my graham cracker crumbs and I have pushed them up against the side with my hands. I've tried to make it an even layer, but clearly this is not perfection. Once I get my sides done, I sort of shake the pan a little bit to evenly distribute the remaining crumbs against the base, and I take a measuring cup and just sort of press the crumbs down into the side and into the base of the pan to make sure that they're pretty compact in there and tight and won't fall apart once the cheesecake is done. After this process, I'm going to throw it in the oven for about 7 to 8 minutes on 350 degrees. I'm going to take it out and let it cool completely before I add my filling. Now that my graham cracker crust has completely cooled and I've mixed together my cream cheese batter, which consisted of 4 8-ounce packages of room temperature cream cheese, 1 cup of sugar, 4 eggs, 3/4 cup of heavy cream, and a tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. I mixed those together in my stand mixer until they were creamy and smooth, and I then poured it into my graham cracker crust. The next thing that we're going to do is prepare our water bath. What I've done now is I have taken an oven bag. I'm a little anal, and I've had water seep into the crust of my cheesecakes one too many times. So although I've wrapped it in foil, I've also set it down in one of these oven bags. I've then placed the entire pan and the oven bag down into a metal roasting pan. And what I'm going to do is transport this over to the oven, and I'm going to pour hot water, probably maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches up the side of the pan, so that the cheesecake can now cook in a water bath. Okay, so now my cheesecake that's been placed in an oven bag and then placed into a roaster and has had hot boiling water poured around the edges of the pan is going to be placed into a 350 degree oven for about an hour. The water bath just ensures a moist environment for the cheesecake and helps prevent it from cracking. If you ever have read any other of the recipes on My Baking Addiction that are for cheesecake, you know that I loathe cheesecake cracks. So this type of method has pretty much perfected a non-cracked cheesecake. gonna close it up. And we're going to set the timer for 1 hour. At this point, our cheesecake has been in the oven for about an hour, baking in a water bath. I'm going to jiggle the pan here a little bit so you can see that the outside is pretty set up, but the inside there still remains some jiggle. What I'm going to do at this point is close my oven and allow the cheesecake to rest in the oven that's turned off for about an hour. Once the hour is over, I'm going to set it on my counter and allow it to completely cool to room temperature before I place it in the refrigerator. Once I place it in the refrigerator, I'm going to leave it in there overnight. Tomorrow I'll come back and show you how I jazz up this cheesecake with a little Snickers topping as well as some caramel drizzle and chopped peanuts. So here's the final cheesecake. It's cooled in the refrigerator overnight. I took it out and topped it with 25 mini Snickers bars. They look like this, not this fun size, the minis. And I cut them into fourths, topped the top of the cheesecake with those, about 1/3 of a cup of roasted peanuts that I chopped coarsely, and about 1/4 of a cup of drizzled caramel syrup over the top. And there you have it. It looks like someone got to the cheesecake before I could show you, but that's the finished cheesecake. And if you're looking for the recipe and pictures, you can head over to mybakingaddiction.com.